Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to GameStar TV for the official Blizzard ANZ HGC qualifiers for Season 4. It is Week 3 of the playoffs, and we have got an amazing game coming at you. It is game number 2 of Darksided versus Nomia. If you're unfamiliar with the storyline, both of these teams obviously picked up victories in the first round, but that map we just saw, Darksided came out with the victory. So congratulations to them. They are now one round away from taking out the night and getting the lead over their arch rivals, Nomia. If you have just joined the broadcast, it wouldn't be a GameStar cast without giveaways and free swag for the audience. So type !GS HOTS into the Twitch chat to get your hands on a 12 chest bundle. We've said it time and time again tonight, but that's because we just love giving away stuff. But we're going to go over to Battlefield of Eternity now, ladies and gentlemen, and this is where it can get spicy. We've seen Ragnaros come out as well as Chromie for Darksided on the last 2 times. 2 champions that excel at big maps, excel at split pushing. Good to see old Lava Wave coming out as well, but this one is going to be about bursting down the targets, getting those frags, and taking out the victory. So for potentially the last time tonight, let's hope not. We love to see a Game 3. We're going to pass you back over to your casters, Skimmy and Vandy, for game number 2 of Nomia versus Darksided.
That's the one there, Kitty. Yeah, there we go. Match point in favor of Darksided, and they've actually opted for the map pick itself. They've gone for Battlefield of Eternity. And that means Nomia have the first pick. Where do they decide to go with this one? We were discussing it off air just before there, Vandy. Whoever wins this series gets first seed leading into week number 4. And that can start to affect things when you go into the actual championship finals itself. They have their own little perks. So a lot on the line here. Both of these teams, as you mentioned, week 1 and 2 have taken the victory against each other. Week number 3 is where things start to get spicy.
I love that. Spicy. And bring out your memes, bring out the, clips, because it's going to be big. And all right, what I'm immediately thinking of is if Nomia aren't going to take Garrosh, will Darksided take him instead? We saw the debut of Garrosh had amazing results. I think it's too good. But Darksided said, nope. We know that if we're not going to get it, you can't have him either. So the one time that Nomia did let him through, Darksided made his debut very convincingly. The utility they brought, great stuff. Tassadar, still on the board. You can run a duo support comp. Mostly you want to focus on the races. So that's where that Grey Main ban makes a lot of sense to both of us. He's one of the best racers next to Vala if she goes the Hungering Arrow build. And then you can kind of come into, get your Malthael. You've also got Artanis. Very, very good at racing down the objective on this map.
Yeah, I was just going to say the Malthael is for sure going to then creep up in that priority, but as a result of the support meta, it is still going to be that Tassadar locked in as that first and easy guaranteed pick. Ufa and Oreo, as you're mentioning at the very start of the day, really falling down in that pecking order. But yeah, as you mentioned, Garrosh, I mean, if you can't have it, you're not allowed to take it. So he's really, really finding his feet in the ANZ scene. It's just so good. I sound like such an excited fangirl, but I mean, it's awesome. Many people on Reddit were saying this hero sucks. What's he going to do? What a garbage kit. He gets debuted in the HGC in whatever region it might be, and the pros show you how to play.
As they always do, Skimmy. I mean, your opinions mean nothing till you see the results in the actual gameplay. Let's go for that. And all right, Chromie being picked up again. Ideally, I mean, maybe not one of her strongest maps. In fact, I know this is not one of her strongest maps. She can be quite exposed on this one. The poke that she gets open on all fronts. But Hacky, he's just so confident on that hero. This is that comfort picks where you're happy playing your into-hero counters. One interesting fact about Battlefield of Eternity, Nomia have vetoed this map, I believe, for at least, if not both weeks, or at least for 1 week. I remember seeing it completely vetoed. So the fact that Darksided want to bring them on this map, Nomia feel perhaps it's not one of their best maps in play.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, week 1 and week 2, Nomia ban away this map, and as soon as it's available, Darksided saying, cool, we feel that we've done the prep leading into this one to take out the victory, and that's what they're going to do. As you were mentioning before, Chromie, you're not the best in terms of racing down, has to rely on that bronze talon with the increased auto attack damage, but fantastic at defending, and that has been the meta in this map for such a long time. But let's talk about these picks. Trace has been locked on in. We know how much work Ben can do on that hero, so combining that with the Tesla is fantastic. Penta on a very comfortable hero for himself as well. It is a Nubrak, so they've got the dive comp. They're going to look to try and execute that backline. All eyes on Chromie, but we're saying at the start of the draft, Malthael is such a good hero on this map, and there's no way that Darksided let Nomia have it.
No, they respect the amount of percentile-based shred damage that he gets and how good he is at rushing that down. Yeah, when I'm looking at Nomia's composition, it's not so much about racing the objective or the Immortal down just yet. It's more about all eyes on that Chromie. They cannot let Haki be uncontested. Tracer, arguably one of the best counters to Chromie on the board, especially when empowered by that Tacita. So great synergy coming into play from Nomia, not only just thinking about the composition that they want to run, but making sure that there's synergy between the heroes that they're picking.
I mean, I don't believe anybody on the side of Darksided plays Medivh, to the best of my knowledge. That would be what I'll be screaming as to a ban choice here. They're going to run it down to the complete wire. They decide to go for an Arthas ban in the end, potentially vesting into a double DPS comp to back up the Tracer, or even just to say that we want to make sure that once Anubrak's in, he can definitely get out of harm's way. Otherwise, otherwise Arthas, overall, it's just a solid ban. We know how much they love to play with it on either side.
That does also leave Darkseid if they do want to go for that very, very tanky front line and bring heroes to them, similar to how they played that one with Garrosh. Stitches is still available on the board, as is Uther. Great synergy between those two. Also can keep Chromie safe. You don't get the Force of Will from Medivh, sure, but you can have the Divine Shield. Yes, it's on a longer cooldown, but plays the same way, essentially, in mitigating a lot of that damage and really stopping Tracer in her tracks and what she's looking to try and achieve.
So what have we got so far, Vandy, on the side of Darkseid? We got a reliable stun, a very beefy stun in the fact of Mirrodin. We then got the Chromie. So we saw last game they had the answer to make sure that Chromie could not be jumped upon with the ability to chuck the ally away. They have gone for the variant, so going, look, it's your time to shine, Varian. You've been subbed from the bench. He's wiped away the Kleenex tissues and he's ready to rock on roll. Oof is there as well. He's going to back him up with the Divine Shield that we were talking about so extensively as that incredibly strong Force of Will. And then Christmas has come. Rhaegar is there, the Ancestral, to make sure that these people live. But the question is it a solo tank or is it the double DPS?
That's going to be the question I'm waiting to see. I mean, I think they are forced to go into double DPS. I don't know if Tracer will be enough, especially looking at how tanky we can see the Darkseid boys go. They have opted for Dahaka. Can arguably be a bit of a bruiser, especially if he also wants to go isolation, add on some additional damage. And I like that because it actually almost fulfills both roles by going this bruiser.
Well, when we were watching some of their scrims off stream, we saw that the Dahaka finding a lot of value. As soon as they could utilize the isolation perfectly, they were locking down crucial targets like the Uther, like the Medivh, and making sure that that could not protect the key target thereafter. So if you're looking to try and collapse on towards that Chromie with both Tracer and Anubrak, if the isolation is there at the right time, I mean, they can definitely shut this comp down, not to mention prevent the taunt that can come across from Varian, which is a big counter to Tracer. The resets allowing him to parry all the time, but just to taunt the Tracer as she's galloping around, blinking all over the show.
Exactly right. And Varian, like you said, it's all about whether he can land those taunts on that Tracer, lock her up for enough. However, with that dual support as well, there's a lot of walls and a lot of hoops. Ooh! Asmodean?
Has Explicit joined the fight, or has suddenly Zepline joined Darkseid, or what is going on here? I mean, we know they like to call themselves the running joke as the innovators of ANZ, but maybe, just maybe, they're innovating a little bit too hard here. I'm excited.
I mean, what does the Asmodean telegraph to us? That you want to push for days, almost ignore the objective and just get so much map pressure. Is that really an answer to Ryu's Dahaka? As we've complimented and seen, he becomes that immovable object in that top lane and he just gets so much experience. Any chance that he can use Brushstalker to the best advantage, he'll make sure that he's out of the fights collecting that experience. Demise on Asmodean, he's perhaps looking to do the same, but over both lanes.
I mean, what are we missing here, Vandy? Let's just take note of what we have here, right? Week 1 and 2, Battlefield of Eternity banned away specifically against this team, saying you cannot have it. What do they know that we don't? Is this Asmodean, the pocket pick, the reason this is taken away? I mean, this is so much confidence exuberating right now from Darksided. And let's see if they have it in the bag. Let's introduce the teams. On the left, it is Darksided in the blue. And it's going to be Moops, team captain on Uther. Sashin playing Varian this time around. Haki on Chromie. Demise playing Asmodean. And Robodobo on Mirrodin.
And Nomia now, they need this point. They need to force it into game number 3. This is going to be first seed that they're playing for. So, without any further ado, we've got Penta on Anubrak, Fat94 playing Tracer, John on Tacita, Ryu playing Dahaka, and last but not least, Vanilla on Rhaegar.
I'm still scratching my head. How does this Asmodean work? Where do they try and play with this one? I mean, they're going to have a week early game. They are fully reliant on this
Skinny.
Chromie.
I need to just bring your attention. We've seen High King's Quest taken up on Varian. No meme.
I mean, a part of me wants to say Colossus Smash, but I tell you what, if I see Twin Blades of Fury, I would just say, Session, can you just stop trying to innovate? Because then it goes into Hero League. People become, they meme with the Lava Wave, they meme with the Twin Blades. Suddenly Session becomes the king meme of ANZ.
The king meme! I mean, that's a title that, it's either going to have positive implications or probably negative ones. As you said, if it's being done in Hero League, we're all going to suffer. Let's see where he goes with this one. Let's see, more importantly, if he can get any value out of that, because it is quite an interesting quest. When you do complete it, you do get 10 basic attack damage, and then if you manage to complete all 3 on that second quest, it's 45 damage. So you're really adding to the damage numbers that Varian can dish on out.
Fan94 copping a lot of damage, force use that recall, but the shield is there, the boys are there to back him up and make sure that the lifesteal is disposable when necessary. And they're really just pumping out damage, fully reliant on Chromie. The stuns are there, the dunks are coming across, and he's going to be denied that recall. The first Immortal phase is going to spawn very soon. He wants to get that mana regen, and I'm looking forward to this one. The punch on the dunks, they are going to be spawning in 10 seconds. Top lane is a bit stale for the most part. Ryu should win that one quite comfortably with the sustain, with the damage, as Session looks to get that all-important level taunt, or as we've said, level 10. Anything's possible at this stage. I'm almost tilted as a caster.
I'm not even sure if we're going to see a level taunt coming on out. I'd be very, very surprised if not, but let's wait and see what happens. High King's Quest is indicating otherwise to me. He wants to go full damage.
Session is jumping on in. They are looking for a kill target on Rhea. The burrow is there and he jukes at the PvE stun. Fantastic. Still running, getting body block. Not going to be phased by this one though. Gets the drag target and he is looking for the execution. Is there damage there? They are looking for Robodobi. He gets the armor to hug. He gets traded out. Chromie finding that one. Session still lives down to 90 and there is nothing that Fat94 can do right now. He needs the blink charges. Maybe they can get a consolation prize. Maybe they can pick up moves. And yes, they can.
Finally for the efforts to get a kill. Is it going to be another one? Yes, it is, but Vanilla gets traded out. Haki proving the dump of sand going to be too much for Nomia to get out.
Oh, the burrow at the very last second. That could have spelt disaster otherwise. And look at these players on Darkside. They are toying with death so low. Robodoba down to 70 health himself. The fight goes across. Somehow, Darkside are ahead with all this range damage. They are just doing so much.
I'm not really sure what's going on in this one, but I am excited, Skimmy. I love getting matches that are out of our norms, out of our comfort zones, and it just gives us another strategy to really, test our skills as casters, doesn't it? Fat94, he does get the pulse bomb onto Demise. All it does is just chunk him. He's healed down. On this top immortal, you often see teams, they don't really favor the defense. It's all about the aggression. It's all about trying to race it down as fast as possible.
Yeah, and you can see no better explanation than that than what they're doing right now. They're just going to collapse on through, and this is going to work in favor of Nomia completely. They're going to win this one by a huge margin. That shield should be quite comfortable at 10,000. Not a bad way to start up the very first one. But we talked about it before, and we'll talk about it again. The siege is not the greatest from Nomia, and the defense is actually not too bad, really, from Darksided.
Surprisingly, not the worst. As you said, they need to respect Haki when he's comfortably sitting behind the walls in the fog. He can dish out a lot of damage without being pressured. That's where Chromie really comes into her own. Nomia, because they won that fight, or that extended fight went on for so long, they were able to start the Immortal quite early, get it into the halftime show, and then be rewarded for their troubles. That is a healthy shield, as you said. This is all experience that they really need to propel them through this early game.
Tails go down and Fat94 begins to get aggressive. The shield is there. Does he have the pulse bomb available? Yes, he does. And it's on to Moops. Haki low. That's the kill target. He's not going to survive. He is the one to fall. The Punisher still has aggro as they are pushing on forward, looking for more. Demise surrounded by 4 boys. Not the boys he wishes he was surrounded by, as they put him in the grave. And they are still looking for more. Fat94 with the pulse bomb as Moops survives on 150 health. Level 7 now for Nomia.
Let's talk about how Nomia played that one and why they were so rewarded for their aggression. As I said, Chromie is only safe as long as he's sitting behind the walls, protected. We can see Fat94, he's not afraid. He's got duo support backing him up. You can afford to be aggressive as Tracer. You have your team backing you up. It almost looked like Vanilla was going to get traded there, but once again, the sustain that they had was great. That allowed the Immortal to push on through, cap that fort with no contention whatsoever on the side of Darksided. Really rewarding Nomia. They are now 2 levels up.
And look how aggressive Darkseid are getting. Despite not having 7, they are prepared to force a fight with what they have. I mean, Robo went in with the stun. Sashin was on the flank. But what can they do? I mean, they don't have that much hard CC. They don't really have that much damage that I can see of so far. They are fully reliant on the Chromie for the most part. Now they hit level 7. And now we can start to try and understand what they have. That quest has already been completed by Demise. Incredible damage and range that it increases it by. But I mean, that level lead, as you were mentioning, Vandy, that's the big talking point for Nomia. They've got the Kazra, they've got the split push, and maybe they go for the invade on the Shaman too.
They are looking for it. They are just moments late. Fat94, he's trying to see if he could stall out. They just miss it, but it doesn't matter. The aggression is there. This is the plays that they are trying to do. Now that you give Nomia an inch, they're going to try and take a mile. That's just how they like to roll. It's full aggression this time around. They're not going to play the passive game. They're not going to avoid the objective like they did in last game. It really punished them on Infernal Shrines.
And they are sticking around in the spot lane. They're not just going to give up this Kazra for free, which I'm really happy to see. They've got that XP lead, and they've got the pushing potential to do it with if they can find the kills. Otherwise, without those kills, they are really, really weak in that regard. But the rotation comes on through. The 5-man rotate, all hunting for Session. It seems this is going to be a trading of lanes. Kazra going to be picked up as this next immortal phase spawns in 10 seconds, with Rio now taking the reins in the bot lane.
I love that. So they said, your work is done in the top lane, let us put some pressure out because they've taken out that fort in the bottom lane. They want to make sure that they always keep Ryu in where he can push to the max of his ability. Pulse Bomb onto Robo, forced to dwarf and toss out. There's some heavy siege coming out on Nomia. They're looking to get even more experience. They want that level 10. They are hungry for it. They know Darkseid have to then play quite passively until they themselves can hit level 10.
Darkseid aren't even phased about this immortal phase right now. They realize that Ryu's just going to push in the bot lane regardless. They're trying to force a fight. They realize that they have to do something now, but it's scary because 10 has just been picked up. The cocoon is there, and then damage to make sure that Moops gets out of harm's way. They're looking to collapse. The bomb is on top of his head. It is low, and Fat94 just cannot find the final few bullets. He is down to 125. Murin does fall. The dunk is there, and he has to get the Ancestralist Tracer to survive.
Absolutely clutch. The fact that he did not die, I'd be so mad if I was Darkseid. They're not yet done. Sashin now falls.
Arian gone, and I mean, we're still no closer to seeing how they try and progress here with this level 10, as they are only now hitting 9. Mortal Phase still not an issue. Vanilla forced to back on out. But even Nomia themselves don't care. They are all about these kills.
As you said, I mean, the Asmodean, he's actually getting, Demise is getting a surprising amount of value because he has opted to go the Sieging Wrath build, or the Glow build, if you will. So every time he's hitting now, we can start to see it is starting to stack on up and start to hit quite hard. What I saw Nomia, the only thing that I saw them doing wrong was the fact that Fat94 was the one taking aggro because he was going so deep for moves. We really needed to see Penta or just anyone else on Team Nomia take the aggro. And we saw, luckily he didn't die for it, but that's just where they kind of went wrong. They need to be able to back up his aggression, get the aggro, juggle it.
Yeah, and ideally you'd love to see Ben jumping in at the same time as Penta and just both collapse and just body somebody and take them home, but at this stage here, it's still all about hitting that level 10. They are so close right now, Darkseid. Surely they get it as this halftime show comes into play. But Ben looks to make a play. The armor is there and it negates a lot of that instant pulse bomb damage as Chromie was the focal point.
And level 10, so close for Darkseid. Finally now being taken up. While I hit tab, this is it. It is Colossus Smash variant, Skimmy. You heard it here first. No level taunt. Second win was indicating. I was hoping. I didn't want to say anything. It is indeed Colossus Smash.
And you hear the scream and you can't avoid it. He's looking for that one shot and he cannot find it. That is the cocoon and that is the breakout by a laser. Yes, you heard that right. An Asmodean laser. That is the method to make sure that you do not get stuck in those Spider-Man webs. As the halftime show, not too productive. The time trap is there. Fat94 once again looking for that pulse bomb target. It's available very shortly. He's just got to find the target he's after.
And Nomia, they want that Immortal down. They want the objective. We can see Archon being popped now by John.
He's going to be the one that's stunned on out. He does have the dimensional shift and he does decide to use it. And suddenly Darkseid have just been almost injected with a sense of life. They've got a lot of energy. They are looking to chase on in with these kills. Regardless if they had 10 before, they're still playing the same. And the Blackpool combined with the Colossus Smash could net for some very flashy plays. But it is very reliant on hitting these skill shots.
All heroic ultimates are up on the side of Darkseid, and so they are playing with that. On the side of Nomia, we do have that Archon down. Cocoon is only now coming online. Colossus Smash, it goes out, there's no damage.
Yeah, the recall instantly responding to that one. A taunt could have done work, but it's not going to be the case here. And that's going to be the pulse bomb, and Varian gets sent home packing. The shield ensuring that Ben can survive the life, still doing work on his old teammate right now, punching on with Robodoba, but they switch their attention to Moops, who has no mana and no way of getting out. Hacky exposed, Ufa down. This is a 3-0 trade right now, really favourable for Nomia, looking for the quad. The bomb is there, the Dwarven toss is not going to be enough armour, and he falls on down as well.
Can we just talk about the stellar game that Fat94 is having? He has dished out 39k damage. The next closest on the board is Hacky's Chromie. Normally Hacky, he leads. It's a good indication of, I guess, what the normal damage number should be like. He's only on 29k. That's an additional 10k damage that Fat94 that Ben has been running away with. Level 13 acquired. It's a mammoth game. The fact that he's so uncontested, that he's dishing out this much damage as Tracer, is showing that Darkseid, they're really starting to struggle, Skimmy.
I mean, if you are a Fat94 fan, you know that this guy loves to play, always on stream. He has a command dedicated towards it. What do I draft? I best just play Tracer, I guess. And that's going to be the case here as he looks to make things happen. They had the 13 advantage. No chance for Darkseid to respond anytime soon. This keep is being pounded upon. It's back into the melee form. It's down to half, but the fight continues. Looking for that one kill target, and it's all about this pulse bomb. Is it available? It hits the ground, but the keep will fall.
The keep finally falls. Immortal finally goes down, but that's all Nomia needed. That's all they wanted out of the push. With that now taken, they can back on out. Johnny is low on health and mana if they want to stay away from the Kaja camp. This could be Darkseid. It's time to see if they could contest. No, they're playing it passively. The reason why, they don't have level 13. They don't want to scrap up against Nomia until they have at least the talent to your advantage, or at least more equal levels.
I'm just trying to think what Darkseid's game plan is going into this one. They've got the double skill shots from both Chromie and Azmodan. They've got the double tanks looking to try and blow somebody up. I mean, it seems to me as if they're fully reliant on what they've done in the past with Azul, with a mouth, where they lock somebody in place, but they're trying to adapt and make it either the Ufa or the Meridian's job to set things up. I mean, if those stars align, yes, it's a good comp. Otherwise, I mean, I'm really concerned, and this game has been a foretelling of that so far. 10-2, the web is there, and Ryu joins the fight, Bandy.
Ryu is in. It looks good. They're waiting for the cocoon to pop, and they're going to collapse on Moops, who's the target of choice.
And he is a dead man walking. He is gone. And Varian, I mean, he's on the side. He's parrying as much as he can, but the wolf bitch slaps him, and he takes him down. Level 15-12. I mean, this game has been run away with. Top lane continuously pushed in, and now this bottom keep is exposed.
I mean, arguably Sashin, if he had that parry up, he could have stalled. This is where you really trade off. You trade off the tankiness for that colossal smash damage. You almost become a mage in that regards with how much burst potential you get, but you're so squishy. And that's what Nomia, they're exploiting. They're looking at it. It's a rough game for Darkseid. I'm not really sure. Whatever strategy they had that they were drafting for, as you said, we're confused. Where are you going with this? We haven't yet seen them execute it. We knew where Nomia were, or what they were trying to do on Infernal Shrines last game. I just can't quite puzzle it out on the side of the Darkseid boys.
I mean, there was two different options I had in my mind. Potentially, they're trying to utilize the General of Hell just to keep constant split push pressure up. But I mean, you're dealing with the Harker, and he's going to outclear that any day of the week. Otherwise, I was thinking maybe a laser build just to try and get some stickiness. But other than that, I mean, he'd have been counted in the same regard because there's so much CC plus the recall on Tracer to get out of it. So it puts them in an awkward situation. Level 16, not too far away from Nomia as they continue their dominance. Only level 13 being picked up right now by Darkseid. Halftime show is in play. Shaman's pushing top. Kazura pushing bot. Nomia looking for that exploit, looking for that gank, and they spot Session, and that's who they're going for.
Yep, they know he's basically a sitting duck. He's so squishy. Like I said, he does not have the parry. He becomes so squishy. Now with their sights turned to Robodoba, Fat94 receives the ancestral heal.
He does indeed. Moops is locked in that cocoon and he cannot save his teammate. Murden falls. Divine Shield still available, saving it for the carries. Divine Shield coming out for himself. He's trying to do what he can, but the boys are there to block him and saying that is not your home. Your home is in the ground, and we are taking this Immortal, and we are closing this game out.
They are hungry for it. Hacky trying to do what he can from the wings. It's not going to be enough. Demise, I mean, it's hard. When an Azmodan is forced to constantly join his team like this, it just sort of spells disaster. And I mean, Ryu, he's joining the team, sure, but that's because he doesn't even need to soak at this point. They're just so far ahead. He gets more value by being with his team. I'd like to see Demise. He needs to push out those lanes, make the best use of the Generals of Hell. Like you said, Azmodan, he's great at that split pushing, but it might be a little bit too late.
This is the fight. This has to be the fight. Otherwise, Darkseid would lose this game at this stage. They've got Shattering Throw at level 13 on Varian, a pick which could do a lot of work. When the Asmo has been chucking out these globes, he has been doing a fair bit of work to Tracer, but that shield is always allowing him to buffer right back up. So Shattering Throw has the potential to do work combined with the Colossus Smash just to one-shot Ben. If that's the case, we'll have to wait and see as the siege begins.
That could be Session's intent all along, to bust out the shields that Tacitus putting onto Fat 94. As you said, the double support, he doesn't even get a chance, he's just taken out. The double support proving too much for them to deal with. As you said, yes, Tracer's getting down low, but instantly there's just so much to keep him alive. And that's, as I said, he's just running away with the game.
2 catapults in the top, and Ufa now down as well. They are just picking this team apart. They are making it a bit of a game at this stage, really. 19 kills to 2 after what was such a close, high-energy game for number 1. Game number 2 is a very different set of affairs as they make their debut on Battlefield of Eternity, a 4-level lead. Nomia tied this thing right back up at 1 apiece.
Nomia showing as well they're not afraid. They have vetoed this map, as I said. Weeks 1 and 2, they showed that they didn't really have a preference for it. Not an indication, felt like it might have been one of their weaker ones, showing us that if they play like this, they've got nothing to worry about. Perhaps it was just a psych. Perhaps this is one of their best, and they're using a bit of reverse psychology. Like I said, Fat 94 ran away with the game. The numbers speak for themselves. 61k damage done on Tracer in 16 minutes. That's well above any averages. As I said, you can use Hacky Demise as comparisons. Just shy, 49k, next highest damage dealt in the game. So just showing he was just on top of it all, really enabled by the duo supports and the tanks, the duo tanks as well, just providing such a great front line.
Well, that does it for game number 2. 1 game to decide it, guys. Leading into week number 4. One of these teams will get first seed, and it's all going to come down right after this break. But as we get ready, back to Kitfox.
Thanks, Skimmy and Vandy, for that amazing game on Battlefield of Eternity. Tied up at 1 apiece. The Nomias just lasso Darksided a little bit. They pulled them back in and said, whoa, cowboy, come back here. We are not done yet. We are going to game number 3. Get your PogChamps in the chat. This rarely happens, and it's always a fantastic showing when it does happen. Final call to get your exclamation mark GS HOTS into the chat. This will be the last time that we'll be able to give you that notification to get your hands on that 12 loot chest bundle thanks to Blizzard ANZ. Congratulations to Fat94 playing an absolutely stellar game on the Tracer to counter Hacky's Chromie, who has been really carving up the opposition like a Sunday roast tonight. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back for the final game of Darksided versus Nomia right after this.